Hi and welcome back to MRTV. Today I bring you a very special interview, an interview that I conducted in virtual reality with Graham Wheeler, the president of HTC for the EMEA region. And we did the whole interview in Vive Sync. Vive Sync is one of the apps that is part of the XR Suite, and we're going to talk about the XR Suite in this interview. The XR Suite is what they want to become the office of spatial computing. So absolutely stay tuned, watch the whole interview because all of this goodness is coming up. All right, this here is me in Vive Sync. This is my avatar. And actually, I think it looks pretty good. Actually, probably a bit more handsome than the real thing. And how did I do it? Well, I simply downloaded an app to my phone, took a selfie, and well, that's the result. And I think that is pretty cool. So now I would just input the room ID, put in the password, and then I would simply be in that meeting. And let's go directly to the meeting now. It is my big pleasure to be able to interview Mr. Graham Wheeler, the president of HTC for the EMEA region. Hello there, Graham.
Hello, it's really nice to speak to you too in virtual reality. It's really good to see you.
Right, really exciting. Also here at the table, Katrina and Simon, also working together with HTC, so probably also going to get involved into the interview in a moment. So, Mr. Wheeler, or no, let's say Graham. Yeah, we have already said we're going to say Graham and
Thank
Sebastian.
you.
Perfect, Graham. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. I'm excited to be here in virtual reality. So I'm sitting here in my home office at the MRTV headquarters. I have the Vive Cosmos on my head, and I'm here now in virtual reality speaking with you. And we're going to talk about the XR Suite, something that you want to make the office of spatial computing. Did I get that right?
That's correct. Yes. It's our future vision of how we believe spatial collaboration will happen in multiple different solutions that we're providing from HTC.
Oh, that's nice. So could you tell our viewers in like 1 or 2 minutes what actually the XR Suite is?
No problem. So the XR Suite is actually a collection of 5 different pieces of software that are all aiding to spatial collaboration. What that means is that they're all about bringing people together in different collaborational types. So this software that we're running now is Vive Sync. It's more of a meeting and means, meeting and interface talking meeting on. We'll bring up some models and presentations and videos and features so you see how we can talk and interact and discuss. There is Vive Sessions, which is a learning and development platform that allows us to do it. And Vive Sync is the only one made by HTC. The others are made by the leaders in the field of the collaboration tools. So, for example, Vive Sessions is made by Engage, one of the leaders in the spatial collaboration as well within education and other aspects. We have Vive Campus, which is made by Babella, which is also one of the key people in making sure that we bring a virtual environment or campus environment to their business users when they want them to go around the office. We have Vive Social that's come from Vive Chat, obviously the biggest chat platform, VR chat platform in the world, and a Vive, yeah, exactly. And that is a tool that we're enabling in future with companies able to make VR environments and have hosted environments within sort of that chat platform itself. And then the last one is Vive Museums, which is made by Museum of Other Realities, which is a company that's make persistent museum exhibitions within virtual reality for people to go around. So it's a suite of 5 different programs that people can interact, and depending on their requirements and their need, they can pick one or all of them to have for their business needs.
All right, really interesting. And well, especially now in times of lockdown where we work at the home office, this is a very nice way to meet each other and to get together, right? I mean, it's a totally different feeling
Exactly.
than looking at these little videos when you're in a video meeting, right? It really feels like we are sitting here around the table now, and actually it is quite nice here. What is it? Is it future San Francisco, or what is it? It's pretty.
You're exactly right.
Really?
You can pick your environment and have future
Okay.
San Francisco, and for example, I can let me just show. Just bring up a video so that you can see. This is a video that is. If I bring a big screen into the environment,
Wow,
we can
this is a big
play
screen
a
indeed.
video.
Cool.
Exactly. I'm just turning the volume down on it, but you
Okay.
can see how we can just play videos and make it really easy and simple for people to experience IMAX style screens in this environment. So
Wow, you caught me by surprise here,
stop the
Rasmus.
video, bring it down.
Wow, this is
Yeah,
a really
we
big
can bring-
screen.
Exactly. But not only can we do that, we can bring in. So let's bring a dragon to the environment. So we can bring in 3D models. This tool to the environment, so that we're in at the moment, was actually made by our internal teams because we wanted to
Wow,
make
okay.
it bigger in right in there. So
It's just in my face.
So you can see exactly. Let me move it out the way up. Let me move it across over
Wow,
down
okay.
over there. That's makes it, but we can make it bigger and move it
Yeah,
around.
wow.
But the idea, so this tool was something that we internally felt the need for spatial collaboration when we started making the HTC headsets. And so our design teams are in San Francisco, in Taiwan,
Okay,
all
yeah, right.
around, and they wanted a way of collaboration on new designs. We found many companies that have sped up development. For example, Bell Helicopters sped up the development of their design processes from 6 years to 6 months using VR. So we know that it's ultra accessible and really well recognized within the industry. And so we, obviously, HTC, even in the early days, wanted to speed up its design processes. So this tool came about for design reviews of headsets. So I can bring in some of the HTC headsets. Designers from San Francisco could draw, comment on it with the designers in Taiwan, and actually we could prototype and come to future designs much, much quicker. And that led to even better innovation. So if I take the Vive Sync, I'm using a Vive Pro with eye tracking. And if you see, my eyes
I
are
can
trapped
see
to
your eyes, yeah.
what my eyes are doing. And if I have also a new development piece, which is a camera that's looking at my lower part of my face, which is a new development tool. And if I puff out my cheeks,
All right. Wow.
so it will mimic
cool.
what my facial movements are. And that was a tool that when we came and did these meetings, we understood you're in your room in Germany, I'm in my room in
Right.
London, and we wanted to have a better interaction. So we wanted to have emotional reactions between us. So we created, with the eye tracking and the mouth tracking, the humanistic avatars that will then mimic our expressions much, much better and actually come to better collaboration of meetings as well.
That's great. And also, like this dragon, for example, when you just increase the size in front of my face, you really get an idea of the spatial dimensions, right, of this. If somebody is watching this now on a 2D screen, okay, they will think there's a dragon. But if you sit here and this dragon is here spatially in 3D, wow, that is really something completely different. So that is absolutely amazing.
Exactly.
And I think for companies who want to do meetings and who want to save on travel costs, right, and who cannot meet because of lockdown probably, or who simply want to get a means of getting together in a very convenient way and everybody can stay in home office, wow, this is pretty amazing. Now, this is the first time that I use Vive Sync. Before I was using some other software. And what I liked here now, the onboarding process was really simple. So, like, I must say, this is like one of the best avatars of myself that I've ever seen. And
Yes.
yeah, really, like other apps, they try hard, but it's not working as easily. So when I set this up, just like half an hour ago, I was asked to download an app to my phone, like the Vive Sync Avatar Creator. it took a selfie. I took a selfie, and then this here, was made. And I'm going to show it to my viewers later. Now you see it from my, you see everything what I see. But later I'm going to show you how I look like, and I look pretty much as I look in reality, probably even a bit more handsome.
I'm just taking a picture as well, just to make sure that we capture this for
right. Yeah, so the onboarding process was really easy, and then before the meeting, Katrina sent me an email with the room ID and the password. I simply typed it in, and boom, here I am. So I really like how easy it is. You really made it easy, and yeah.
Well, this is still in beta for us, so we actually just released it free for people to try, and we're adding new features and functionalities weekly on it. And we've had over 5,000 meetings, and that was a stat from a few weeks ago. So I'm sure it's tremendously grown even from that. So we know that this is a useful tool, and we're always irritated. I can't even say the word. Sorry.
Iterate.
Moving it
the German guy is telling you how to say the word.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
So every time I come in, I'm seeing new ones. So for example, today, me and Kat, when we came in, we've added a new handshake feature because we wanted to have people having the ability to shake hands, and it will actually vibrate your controllers in a more sort of realistic tugging base, and you can high five as well. It's really we've really added sort of loads of features. For example, we can even add apps and emojis.
Ooh, coming up. Yeah.
So we can add those. Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So a lot of great things.
Nice. And how many people can be here at the same time?
So at the moment, the maximum within this environment is 30. And what we can do, what I'll do is let's get rid of the small table. Let's bring in the amphitheater.
Oh,
so I'll move the dragon out of the way, because that's so the idea is that we will have 30 people within the stage, and that's why we added the features like the clapping and emojis, because what we wanted to do is have presenters still get reaction from the crowd, because we also want to mute everyone to not disturb everyone. But then if you're still sending up different emojis, you can still give that interaction to different people. And they're features that have come from us using it. And actually, that's the one thing I like about this tool, is that we are constantly evolving it from the basis of the feedback from our usage of it, basically.
Okay, yeah, that's always the best, like to iterate on the feedback that you get and then simply make the product better. So what can you do? So it's already great that you can meet, that we're sitting here. It feels really nice. We could talk about anything business. I can show some models, 3D models. I can load them from my computer here onto the table or anywhere, right? And
Yep, absolutely. And we can. So not only can you just load a model, but obviously using a simple idea,
you can play tic-tac-toe.
If we wanted to, we could play. Yes, exactly. Or we wanted to comment and draw around the model of where we want to improve things, or elements like that. So it allows you to kind of interact with those models that you've shared or I've shared, and allow us to have that data stored across it. As you said, you saw the big screen. We can load PowerPoint presentation, PDFs, pictures. In actual fact, maybe if I load a presentation now, which is about the XR suite we're in, and we can see if there's anything within there.
I like when that screen comes up.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What's next?
And so you have control, and that's why you can see how, just as a small detail, we dim the lights in the environment just to make it easier to more focus on the screen itself. And we're adding those things. As we said in the tool, we saw the need to actually bring this out due to the events that have been cancelled in the last year. We've always been working on it, but we felt that's why, for example, with Vive Sync, it's in beta. We're launching them now because we know there's a need for them now, and we're wanting to make sure that we support the events and the networking that would have normally gone in the year and actually made sure that we can do that. And as you see, I can have a laser pointer pointing onto the slideshow and everything wherever I want.
Do I also have one? I probably also have
one
one,
of the
right?
Yeah, you do. Yes, yeah. If you just go to your
I have it.
yeah, exactly. And you can then, when you press the trigger, a laser pointer comes on and off.
All right.
But you can see
Cool.
that actually, the reason we did this is that actually one of the things that everyone says is that having Zoom meetings or Teams meetings or that video collaboration is not always enough in that interaction. What we found in that is that people are unfortunately doing multiple things when they're doing VR collaborations, and that's the need for spatial collaboration, because it brings you close to the actual similar face-to-face experience rather than the two-dimensional. And actually, only 19% of people were happy with the fact that they were doing things on video. And if this is why we brought in XR Suite, but if we look at some of the other stats that come around it, we found that actually face-to-face meetings are the most productive. And that's what, when you talk about let's have a face-to-face meeting, it's because you can agree things quickly, you see the expression, you're focused on it. And we found that actually spatial collaboration meetings are just as close to being as more productive as face-to-face meetings. So it's really one of the best ways, because you're focused on the meeting, you're wanting to make sure that it's there. And actually, in terms of effectiveness and engagement, we found that people are very much more engaged in that, even more so than a face-to-face meeting, because we can bring in the things like the dragon into the environment, and you can then have a much more engaged experience, which means that the meetings tend to be shorter, because people are much more focused on those meetings, and then they feel happier that they are focusing in those environments. And that's one of the main reasons why we believe in spatial collaboration when it comes forward.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So for these meetings, you will need VR headsets. Like I'm using a VR headset now, right? But probably you want to invite somebody who does not have a VR headset, and you still want to be in this kind of room. How would you solve that?
Well, this is one of the key things. One of the key elements for us is that these software are all with the same sign-on to make it easier for people to go to, but also we're having a similar user experience. And as you can see here, Simon, who's in the room, he actually is not on a VR headset. I think if you wouldn't mind talking, you'll see a little symbol that shows that he's a computer screen in the room. There you go, Simon, if you say something.
Yeah, I'm only on the computer right now, not wearing a headset, so but still can join the call.
Okay, Simon says he's not on a headset. Yeah, cool.
Exactly. But what the idea is that we are enabling, so with Sync, you can enable via Android or iPhone apps to actually view and be in the meeting, similar to what Simon is. So you have an avatar, or you can be on a PC, and you can still do the elements that you could do, but you obviously don't have the facial gestures, the ability to move around. Exactly.
But you can still be there. You can still meet. You can still join the meeting.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. And he's obviously in a very set style, but you can also be sort of in the sky looking down on a meeting if you didn't want to be an avatar as well. So you have the ability to sort of be a presence within there looking down and above.
Cool. Great.
So that is our aim. We realize that VR headsets are not as ubiquitous as we would like them to be, but we see the kind of the transition for people that they will come in, figure out some experiences either on the PC or on the phone, and then want to grow and get better and better within the VR environment.
Right. And I also believe that when you're giving a presentation, this is way more persuasive. Like I have the feeling like, okay, now this thing came up and you showed it to me and I was like, wow, it's like pretty amazing, right? If you would have just told me that in a video meeting, it's like, okay, but this is like, I'm here now with you. I have this this human interaction, right? That's what we do, humans. Like we talk to each other, like face to face, and yeah, it feels great. Cool. So tell our viewers who are interested in this now. Like let's say I have a business and I have lots of meetings, right? And I have to travel to those meetings, and it's lots of time. It's expensive or not possible because of COVID. How can they get into this? Where is this available, and how expensive is it?
So this is available on the Viveport store, so you can download the applications. The price is dependent on the customer because it depends on the situation for the customer. What we're doing in Europe, which is slightly different to China, is the fact that we are enabling the different pieces of software to be enabled at different times, as it were. So if you came in and only wanted to use Sync, we'd build a bespoke price and how you wanted to use that, how many meetings, how many people within inside that environment, how many users, etc., like that. So we'll build a bespoke price for you depending on your requirements, and all of them are available on Viveport for download. And it has to be said that they are all, as you're aware, that we've used our partners. So, for example, Engage, you can download the Engage application from your Steam store or wherever you have taken it from and use the login in that as well. So it's not restricted to just the ones from the Viveport environment.
Okay, so that makes sense. You have business pricing, depends on how big your company is. So probably if I have just like a small company and I just need to do like one meeting a week, probably it's very cheap, right? But if I have like a multi-million-dollar company, all right, then the prices are going to be different. Makes sense. So
exactly.
So how would I get to the pricing? Who do I have to get in touch with? So I do I download the app first, or do I go to the website first and make an inquiry? How does it work?
Exactly, yes. If you go to our Vive website, the enterprise website, there's an inquiry form for the XR suite. And if you fill it out, one of our salespeople will actually come and contact you and discuss about the requirements and obviously talk about things like proof of concepts first or other activity to help aid the sales process.
Okay, that makes sense. So in which regions is this available? Is this available worldwide now? Or some regions first?
So we're rolling it out worldwide, but it's available in China first. In Europe, we're making it available now, and that's where we're rolling out, and it will come to the US at a later stage in that. So it is in a rolling staging process. We want to make sure that we support all the customers at the right time in the right environments.
Okay, so if you're in China right now, or if you're in Europe, like us, I think you're in the UK, right? I'm in Germany.
Yeah.
Then you can absolutely go to the website and get your inquiry in and find out how expensive is it going to be for your company. But could you still, I still want to ask a bit about the pricing. Could you give us like an idea? Like what kind of money are we talking about? Just No, okay. All right. Yep.
No, sorry. I mean, what I mean by no problems.
Okay. No problem.
Apologies. So what we've done for as an estimate of the pricing,
yes.
No, we're not going to give it the price. No.
Exactly,
the estimate of the pricing for all five of them together, when we launched it, what we said it was around the sort of $30 mark for all of them together. Now, different ones have different pricing inside that because, for example, the Vive Museum is actually a free application, and the follow-up is actually how big a exhibition you want to follow up and the development cost for the art exhibition you want to create. So that's not a fixed price in terms of you pay that and then you can have a museum of your choice, however much you want to do. That requires some a subset of conversation, but most of the applications sort of are within sort of the sort of £7 to £15 price point, depending on the requirements within inside.
Okay, all right. That is basically free for companies. That's not expensive. Even for individuals, that's not like a very high price to pay. If you get more creative and productive, I think that is really good. So very interesting. If your company is interested in this, simply get in touch with Vive on the Vive homepage, right? It's vive.com simply, and then you can simply put in your inquiry.
Enterprise.vive.com.
Right.
So if you go to the enterprise one, you'll find it, easier.
Okay, so what kind of hardware do they need if they want to use this kind of software? So, of course, it's better with headsets, but you said you can also use computers, but you want to use this with headsets, right? I mean, that's what you're doing here.
Exactly, yeah. So it's just obviously your standard VR headset. So, for example, Kat in the room here, she's on a all-in-one headset. So she's on our Focus Plus. Simon, as we've said, is on the PC. I'm on a Vive Pro. You're on a Vive Cosmos. So we pretty much have the ecosystem here showing that you can use on the different VR headsets.
Okay, so you need to use the HTC headsets. That's for sure.
No. So the application is available for download on the PC client. Obviously, you can use any of the PCs using the standard Steam drivers within the headset environment.
Okay, that's great. So you can use any of these, I don't know, whatever Valve Index or whatever you want to use. Okay, that's good. That's great news. So if you already have any kind of VR headset, then this is going to work. Cool. Now we know your competitors are very successful, like rolling out the standalone headsets, the Quest 1 and Quest 2. Do you have any kind of plans to make this available on these headsets too?
So if we look at headsets and the development times, obviously we have it enabled within our all-in-one category. And when it comes to the other stores, it's obviously something we can't discuss about because it's their stores. And so whether they enable the ability for the content to be on those stores, I'm afraid it's something that is obviously a standard APK that is based on the Wave platform that we're currently using as well.
Right. That makes sense. So that one you
the
cannot
one thing
guarantee.
I would say, yes, the one thing I would say, if you look at HTC, and this is where we see a very clear strategy of headset types and the needs. We see the segmentation of PC VR and all-in-one VR starting to pull away now in terms of the PCs processing performances are just obviously tremendous. We take the 3090 from NVIDIA and just look at the Geekbench stores that can go. It's obviously amazing. So we're seeing the quality of visualization coming into PC VR and taking a very much giant leap stepping up. And the all-in-one category is very much about that ease of use, the ability to jump into content quickly. And we see that segmentation coming more and more for HTC. And we think it's very key to have products within those categories. But I have to say, and this is something that I think probably more for your readers, your viewers, and where they see. We also are looking to the future HTC, and we believe there is a new category coming, which is on the end, which is more about that ultra portability side, because that ultra portability is sort of VR headsets that fit into a glasses case, and they would call almost XR viewers, the things that you would travel around, where the processing componentry isn't in the headset, it's based in, say, for your mobile phone. And we call that the all-in-two design rather than the all-in-one design of the headsets like the Focus Plus. And we see a future within that. And spatial collaboration is a big category within that XR viewer category. And we, HTC, are very interested in that category and are very much interested in understanding how that will evolve in the future of VR and XR technology. So that's where what you'll see from HTC is we very much believe the PC VR is taking a step forward onto the side, and the processing and the visualization is really taking a giant leap within the PC environments. And now your readers will say, well, I have the ability to connect from an all-in-one headset to my PC, and I do agree, and HTC makes one of those tools as well for its Focus Plus to connect, but it's not quite the same as connecting directly into the graphics card itself. Or as much as we will try and limit the restrictions that come through from connecting to those environments, you aren't directly connecting into the graphics card. So if you really are wanting that performance and fidelity side, really the best thing is a PC VR headset. And then if you want the ease of use, really the best thing is that the all-in-one category. And then if you want the portability in the future, we really do see the XR viewer category growing as well. And they have that sliding scale of portability and for the moment, that sliding scale of visual fidelity, because obviously something that's ultra portable is never going to be the same performance characteristics as a PC headset.
That is so interesting. So XR viewer, that's something that we are very interested in as well. And you just said it. Wow, all in two. You have like something like glasses or sunglasses, that form factor that you plug into your smartphone, and then you're good to go. Basically,
Yeah.
Do you have like an exciting product announcement here to do?
No, I'm just giving. So this is looking to HTC's future and where we see that's our vision of the future. One thing I would say, so we did announce the Project Proton concept devices that were based on that all-in-two design. And I would also point to the fact that we have signed an agreement with Qualcomm for the Wave platform to be the XR platform of choice within the Wave, the Qualcomm chipset. So the biggest chipset supplier in the world, making predominantly most of the flagship smartphone experiences out there. We have signed the agreement that our Wave platform will be the platform of choice within within those chipsets.
That is fantastic news. I have one question about this XR viewer future. Now, the content is coming from the smartphone. Is the actual content being rendered in the cloud and then sent to the device via a 5G connection? Are we already at edge cloud rendering at this point in time next year, or is it really on the phone?
We're not talking. To be honest, we're not putting a defined date on that category. In essence, we're just saying where it is. But just so you're aware, we believe there's two parts on that, which is there is a local rendering, and that's why the Wave platform will enable from the smartphone device to render some more basic content within those XR glasses. But yes, you're right. The future iteration is that cloud edge viewing element for it. And that's why I say what we're talking about here is where we HTC see the future, not that we're announcing anything within that. I'm just giving you that sort of our thought processes of our discussions internally.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Right. So now we have seen Vive Sync. It's very nice. We can have a great meeting here for 4 people and even more until 30. That's for sure. And I would like to understand more. Let's say I want to do something else, like an exhibition. I want to do my own exhibition where I exhibit not art pieces, but more like traditionally where different kind of exhibitors can go, just like CES, right? We cannot go to CES in next year. So can I do that with the XR Suite?
So yes, different tools in it. So there's multiple programs that were in the XR Suite. So for example, Vive Social, say you wanted to create the environment of CES, which is many hotels and a show floor. You can create that in Vive Social, which is obviously based on VR chat, and actually have people walking around those environments and have those stands in there. There's obviously Verbella, that's a great platform for doing that sort of large show interaction as well. And again, Engage is more, it allows people to present their products and have it in the multiple rooms and the persistent exhibition experiences. So it depends on the specifics of what that customer wants to do. We can definitely provide that, and we will provide those sort of consultancy services that will help develop those sites and experiences. Say, for example, you want a whole show of CES, then we would probably go to one of our partners like Engage or Verbella, and we would work with you and them to make sure that we can grow that environment for you and offer you things like Vive Sync as a way of coming into meeting rooms afterwards. So you could have your show floor and then you have your private meeting rooms in Vive Sync afterwards. So we offer the solutions to enable those things for sure.
It's interesting. There's whole new professions going to emerge, like virtual architects, right? Who build something like this.
Absolutely.
Right? It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be in VR. Like I really want, if I want to do something like CES, okay, I will need people who help me build it. I need virtual architects, right? I need all these kind of things in virtual, and lots of people are going to work in VR, right?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
I totally agree with you. And even things like a classroom of the future, in essence of having the ability to bring the model of the, say you were having a lesson on wildlife and bringing an elephant into the room, being able to bring that model in and have it animated is an amazing way to teach children about how big an elephant is, because they'll see that size compared to just looking at something in a book. And so I think there'll be a real big lot of profession of people creating those models that people will want to use, and have an African elephant made by one artist and an Asian elephant made by another, different elephants showing those different characteristics of that anatomy.
Right. So one thing that is being discussed here in Germany right now because of Corona is, should schools still be open? Should there still be like presence education, right? Because, well, schools, children, lots of Corona flying around most probably. So could you also use the Exa Suite to make like presence education, like really have like a 30 or let's say 40 school kids? Can you do that as well if you have 40 school kids in a room? Would you use this here, or
absolutely? I mean,
what do you use?
For me, Dave Whelan, who is the CEO of Engage, who is obviously Vive Sessions in that. Actually, the reason for Engage to be created was because they had the vision of, I don't know if you've read Ready Player One, which is Lutus, which is the school. I hope you had, which Lutus is the planet with all the schools. And actually, that was the inspiration for Dave to actually create Engage. And he wanted it to make it an educational platform that recorded teachers and had the most engaging content, so that children could come and take lessons and be engaged and see models and things like that. So that is one tool that has been inspired by teaching children. But it's not to say that the others can't do it. It just depends on the environment. The wonderful thing about Engage is you can record a teacher taking a presentation, and then that can be saved and actually go back in, and a new pupil 10 days later can go in and watch that recording as if it was live, and the avatar is there. So it's a really exciting way of teaching. And I've done a few lessons in Engage with Dave, and it's been a really exciting experience for sure.
Oh, that's interesting. So if schools approach you, do you have some special education packages, or have schools or education already approached you about this?
So again, that's the reason where we say is they need to come to us and discuss with us about their specific requirements. So we are very keen to talk to different education people as well, because we think this is a great tool for that. And as you said, you can see bringing a dragon to environment and actually having it in VR is very engaging. Yes,
yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Very, very cool. So you have a piece of software, you have put the most interesting and important social and education tools into one single sign-on, calling it the Exa Suite. It is now available for business in Europe and in China, soon going to go to the States as well. And everyone who wants to, who could think of having their business, their education brought into VR, they can simply connect with you going to enterprise.vive.com. Did I summarize it correctly?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
That's absolutely perfect. So you can take my job. But you're doing
right. Oh my goodness. I should totally do it. Very nice, very nice. So I think it's really interesting to see where you're going with VR. So you started actually as a company doing consumer VR, like with the HTC Vive. It was not directed at enterprise at the beginning, right? It was actually, you were the first actually who brought VR to people with the original Vive, right? But that was still a different focus. And now it seems you're shifting more to the enterprise market. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say that is correct. We definitely are focusing on both B2C and B2B. If I use some of my historical kind of knowledge, I joined HTC over 15 years ago. Actually, I'm employee number 4 of HTC Europe. So really, when it was just starting up and we were kind of having the idea of bringing a smartphone into the European market and how do we move forward on that. This is way before the HTC brand even was HTC on phones itself. And what we saw with the smartphone market is that we sold at the start to enthusiasts. That was the biggest draw because it was having the ability to have Internet Explorer on your phone or Excel on your phone, and you could see emails. And wasn't it amazing that you could do all these things on your phone? And in fact, there was my wife, for example, when I said I was joining HTC, she said I was mad, and why would I want to have email or internet on my phone? Because no one will want that. I have a PC in the corner of my room. Who needs to have it portable? And the vision that Cher set up the company was to put the power of the PC into your hand. And that's what we were focusing on. And the first early adopters were very much the enthusiasts. And that's what you've seen in VR. The second wave of adopters were actually the businesses. And if I use an example, in 2007, I think, I broke my leg and I was in hospital. And the doctor did his rounds and he was using one of our phones. And I was very like, oh, you use one of our phones. And he was talking to me about how the productivity had increased because he could take notes on patients when walking around the round and not having to think of it afterwards or have dictated notes onto a phone and then have some assistant type them up. He said it improved his productivity. He could actually write out prescription requirements. And that's what you're seeing today. The speed of which people are adopting VR now has come from the enterprise environment because they're seeing that improvement. You just take Bugatti having design costs dramatically reduced. The Bell helicopters, as I said before, having the ability to go down from 6 years to 6 months, or even the fact that we're in every, most of the major Premiership football teams in terms of a rehabilitation tool for them to rehabilitate new footballers. You can see how it's very flexible in its approach. And that's what you're seeing a lot of people talking about because it's now the enterprises that are showing the adoption. And later on, the enterprises where you use it at work and find it a useful tool will bring it back to everyday consumers because then they will see the advantages that have come from their work environments and understand how VR is back to what you were saying earlier about how isn't it great that you really need to see the dragon in the room to understand how it feels like there's a dragon here rather than just seeing it on 2D. So when people experience it in the work environment, then they will be very much understanding how that can help them in the personal world. And I think the same adoption curve is going to happen with VR as happened with smartphone as well.
Okay, so you think in a couple of years, everyone is going to have like a VR headset?
Yeah. So HTC's vision that's been the last few years, the vision is actually unleashing the human imaginations from the limitation of reality. Well, that's a very wide statement, but the idea is that why can't we be on space, have dragons in the room, have meetings from the other side of the world to have face-to-face meetings? All of these things are there within inside VR and have that ability. And in the same way that we feel that we were helping and one of the main contributors to putting the power of the PC in your palm of your hand, which is today described as the smartphone, then we will be one of the main contributors within the spatial computing environment to help grow that environment and unleash the human imagination from the limitations of current reality.
Okay, so that makes so much sense, and it fits perfectly into place with you wanting to build the office of spatial computing, right? And the next big computing platform for sure
Absolutely.
is spatial. And if you have the office, well, congratulations. That's absolutely a great thing to have. Graham,
Exactly.
Thank you so much for this very interesting interview. I think we have covered lots of exciting topics, and the XR Suite is available now. Definitely something that people should check out who want to do business or who want to have an office in virtual reality. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely a pleasure, and definitely for all of our viewers, check out enterprise.vive.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, this was a really interesting interview. Thanks again to Mr. Graham Wheeler, the president of HTC for the EMEA region, and everything happened in virtual reality in Vive Sync, which is part of the XR Suite, what they want to become the office of spatial computing. And if you're interested, I'm going to leave all the links down in the description of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If yes, give it a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to MRTV yet, then do so now. And if you're interested in XR consulting, also, you can get in touch with me. I'm also doing XR consulting for companies, and all the links are down in the description of this video. That's it, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next episode.